We are at UPMC about to get underway. On ice for Bell Tire against Penn's Elite, we have Markovic, Dobbs, Kozarowski, Mackenzie Flanagan, and Martin. And we are off. Penn's dropping it deep down into the Bell Tire zone, pushed ahead by Martin with the half wall to Markovic. Put back down deep by Penn's Elite. That's Flanagan out to Kozarowski, across to Markovic, just outside of her reach. Intercepted by Penn's, defended by Martin. Picked up by Dobbs off Martin's stick. Dobbs now 2-on-1, trying to shoot it in. Deflected off of Penn's shin pad and dumped deep by Martin in the corner. She's met there at a Penn's Elite player. Hewer helping out, sending it up the wall, finding Hagbay. And hooked down to the ice. No call. We are going to get a call on that. Hewer was hooked on that play. And Bell Tire is going to go on a power play. 14:09 here in the first period. On ice, Hagbay. Bellucci, Hewer. Mackenzie Flanagan and Martin. And that puck is down, picked up by Hagbay, dropped back to Flanagan. Flanagan goes down, picked up by Hewer. Hewer to Flanagan. Flanagan circling, shot blocked out front, chipped down to Martin. Martin hit hard into the boards, comes out with the pucks. Hewer going back up top to Flanagan, back to Hewer. Hewer walking in, down deep to Bellucci. Bellucci off her stick, regains possession, up to Hewer. Hewer to Flanagan. Flanagan, shot, blocked out front in the slot. Martin jumping in. Picked out to neutral and picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan chipping it up to Bellucci. Trying to get back deep with it. Bell Tire working their power play, going across to Flanagan. Flanagan up top, shot. Hit out front in traffic, sent deep. Now going to be picked up by Martin. Martin sending it to the corner, up to the top to Flanagan. Jump past her stick in neutral. Going rink wide with it. Hit off of Penn State, picked up by Martin. Martin circling. Coming back up through her own zone. Martin going up the wall, sending it up to Dobbs. Dobbs going across to, I believe, Markovic. Markovic taking a look, dumping it deep. Nobody home as the D went for a change. And that puck's going to come out of the zone and slide down into the Bell Tire zone. Picked up by Morton. Morton across to Caitlin Flanagan. Back to Morton. Morton sends it in deep. Chased down by Penn's in their own corner. Sent around their net. 12:39 remaining here in the period, and power play has expired. Dobbs behind the Penn's net. Penn's picking it up, sending it up the half wall, and out to neutral. Penn's trying to get it deep and gain the Bell Tire zone. That play disrupted by Bellucci, picked up by Morton. Morton trying to send it up to Sam Kay. Sent down, Penn's shot, blocked out front. That block was by Kozarowski. Grunned in net here, picked up by Caitlin Flanagan off the half wall, trying to find a player in neutral. That puck goes out, picked up by Caitlin Flanagan. Flanagan going to Bellucci, finding Cruciano, and Penn's now with the puck in neutral. Penn's gaining the zone, disrupted by Clemens. Caitlin now in the corner, battling with Bellucci. Up top goes Penn's. Penn's shot in, blocked by Clemens, out to neutral. Penn's have to reset. Chased by Cruciano. And Bell Tire line change happened. We've got Cruciano out with Hewer, Bowman, and Mackenzie Flanagan. Picked up by Markovic in her own zone, it up the wall into neutral. Picked up by the Pens. And regain possession by Markovic. Markovic sending it across to Bowman. Bowman trying to chip ahead, finding Hewer. Hewer getting it into the Penn zone. Continuing forward, she's got Agbe centered. And intercepted by Penn's behind their own net. Penn's off the half wall, going rink wide in their own zone. And now circling back. Hewer putting some pressure on. Disrupts the play, and with Clemens. Cross ice pass goes into the Bell Tire zone. Chased down by Flanagan. Clemens hits it up the board. Finding, that's going to hit a player on the bench, and they're going to stop play. We will probably have an ice cut at the end of this period. There's 10:09 remaining. Laura's giving me an update. Mackenzie is 34. Caitlin is 43. I'm very sorry. So Mackenzie is on ice now. All the plays before was from Caitlin. Mackenzie on ice now with Martin. Martin sending it around, trying to find Agbe going up the wall. And that's Dobbs skating into the corner. That puck disrupted out front, chipped ahead by Palucci. Palucci now with a little bit of a room is taken down to the ice. And we're going to have a whistle here. That is going to be, it looks like, both going to the box. We've got offsetting penalty here on Palucci and a Penn's player. A little scuffle on the ice. On ice, Morton, Caitlin. And that puck is in the corner. Markovic fighting. Morton disrupting the play. Picked up by Markovic behind the net, sending it up the half wall to Clemens. Flanagan behind the net, up the half wall, finding Hewer. Hewer trying to chip it out, didn't make it. Pens regain possession in the Bell Tire zone. Flanagan chasing to the corner. Up top to the dot shot. It's going to go over top of the net and slide out to neutral. Sending it across. That puck's dumped deep by the Pens. They chase it down. Morton to chase behind the net. Pens regain possession, dropping it down. Quick shot wide of the net. Pens again. Quick shot blocked by Grun. Pens up top to the blue line. Going center, disrupted. Clemens now going to have some room to skate out. Defense going for a change. Clemens dumps it in. McKenzie coming out with Martin on D. Gazarovski out with Dobbs and Agbe. Dobbs to Martin. Martin to Flanagan. Flanagan up top looking for Dobbs. Dobbs skating into the zone, getting the shot off, blocked by Pens. And out to neutral. McKenzie cross to Martin. Martin regaining possession here in her own zone. Skating up through, finding a little bit of room. Goes Martin. Martin into the Penn zone, disrupted. Picked up by Agbe, dumping it deep. Out to neutral. Flanagan's going to dump it deep. It's going to hit off a Penn's player and roll just out of their net as Hewer chases down. Picked up by Agbe. Coming out, Martin to defend. Sent ahead. That's going to be an icing on Pens with 7:39 remaining in this first period. 0-0 is the score. On ice, they are going to have Cruciano out there with, looks like Markovic and Clemens, Bowman and Flanagan. That puck at the half wall, Pens. Bringing it out to neutral, going cross ice. This is going to be picked up by Caitlin. And just over the Bell Tire bench, that puck goes out of play. Markovich to take the draw. The puck is down. Pens picks it up in neutral, sends it ahead. Into the zone it goes. Sent ahead, picked up by Markovich. Markovich off the wall. Trying to get it deep, chased by Cruciano. On the net, Pens go. Line change, out comes Colucci and Hewer. Pens streaking up ice. Defended by Caitlin Flanagan. Shot on net, turned aside by Grund. Into the corner, Colucci to chase. Hewer battling. Puck comes out, picked up by Caitlin Flanagan. Sent to the half wall. Looking for a chip, intercepted by Pens. Behind the Bell Tire net. And now picked up by Cruciano. Flanagan at the half wall, shipping it up in the air and out. It's going to be picked up by Cruciano. It's got a little bit of room. Almost had a step, intercepted by Pens. And Morton now in on G with Martin. Agbe, Colucci, Dobbs, offsides on Bell Tire, 6:08 remaining in this first period. Dobbs to take the draw. Pucks into the Penn zone. Pens have possession. Rink wide they go. Back across. Up ice. Finding their play. Colucci with a little bit of room to work. Picked up at neutral by Martin. Ahead. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin going rink wide, looking for Agbe. Deep down behind the Pens net. Bell Tire line change. Markovich coming back out with Chris. And an icing called. So that's going to come the length of the ice. On ice, Clemens, Kazarowski, and Markovich out with the Flanagans on D. I don't have to worry about numbers. I can just say their name. Markovich down in the corner. Pens getting that up the half wall. Sending it ahead. Missing their mark. Icing wave. Chased down by Mackenzie Flanagan. Flanagan dumping it back to Markovich. Markovich trying to get a chip on it. There's a physical game happening here. And it looks like they are going to take both players again for the box. Another pair of offsetting penalties. Puck is down. Pens dropping it down, knocked down. And a quick shot on the rebound is going to put Pens up by 1. .501 remaining in this first period. Puck is down. Cruciano trying to chip it ahead. Mackenzie Flanagan's going to dump it deep. Going to go behind the Pens net. Picked up by Pens up the half wall. Now collected in by Caitlin. Shot blocked out front. Picked up out to neutral by Pens. Flanagan on D. Sending it ahead. Quick chip. Good. Saved by Grund. Good play by Grund on that. 4:37 on the clock. Shots on goal, 4 for Bell Tire, 6 for Pens. Line change for Bell Tire coming in. Martin out with Mackenzie Flanagan. Agbay getting a step. Almost had that out there with Dobbs. Martin defending here. Chased by Agbay and Clemens. Clemens with the puck, getting it out to neutral. She's going to get, looks like a penalty there. Going to be on Pens. There we go. All right, Bell Tire's going to go on a power play here with 4 minutes and 14 seconds. We got a roughing call on Pens Elite. Out comes Bell Tire's power play line, Agbay, Palucci, Ewer, Flanagan, and Martin. Puck is dropped, back to Martin. Martin walking into center ice. Martin chipping it over to Hewer. Hewer, Flanagan, back to Hewer. Hewer down to Martin. Martin, quick shot, gets deflected into the corner. Picked up by Hewer. Hewer to Flanagan. Flanagan shot, blocked out front, and Pens are going to come out to neutral. Chased down by Hewer. And picked up by Agbay. Agbay hits to Flanagan. Flanagan turning up ice. Flanagan to Palucci. Palucci now down in the corner. He's going to spin it up top to Flanagan. Flanagan's going to walk to center, finding Hewer. Hewer walking in, circling. Hewer backing back out. Over to Flanagan. Flanagan's shot. Going to go off the goalie's chest. Picked up by Martin. Martin, quick shot. Blocked by Pens goalie. Pass back by Martin to Palucci. Palucci's going to dump it down to Hewer. Hewer up to Flanagan. Flanagan back to Hewer. Hewer walking in. Down to Palucci. Palucci in the corner. Back up to Hewer. Hewer up to Flanagan. And that's chipped back off the stick of Flanagan. And we're going to have the offsetting penalty end there. So Markovich will be back on ice. Bell Tire's going to get a line change. 20 seconds remaining in the power play for Bell Tire. Kazarowski, Dobbs, Clemens, Morton, and Flanagan on ice for Bell Tire. That puck sent the length of the ice. It's going to come all the way back for Bell Tire to retrieve. Morton sending it back behind the Bell Tire net. Sending it up ice, missing the pass. It looks like we should have another penalty. Yeah, there's going to be another roughing penalty. So this is going to be a rough on Pens with 1 second remaining in their previous penalty. We are going to have a very short 5-on-3. I will turn into a power play for Bell Tire. Puck is down. Markovich in the corner. Up top to Flanagan. Flanagan's going to walk in. Over to Markovich. Markovich collecting right at the door of Pens. Sending it deep. Back up top to Markovich. Markovich walking in. Markovich circling. Going to go up top to Flanagan. Flanagan shot. That's going to go wide of the net. Picked up by Markovich. Markovich drops down. Back up top to Markovich. Markovich to Flanagan. Flanagan shot. Wide of the net. Picked up by Kazarowski. Down to Markovich. Markovich to Flanagan. Flanagan over to Morton. Morton up top. Flanagan. Flanagan shot. Rolled off the end of his stick. Made it to Morton. And it's going to roll out to neutral. That puck's going to go the length here. And it's going to slide out to center here. That's picked up by Hewer. Hewer going up ice. Hewer with room to work. Out with Palucci. Hewer taken down to the ice. No call on that. That's going to slide the length of the ice out here with Mackenzie, Flanagan, and Martin back in on D. Up top to Hewer. Hewer's going to get it down. Slide into the zone. Up top to Flanagan, back to Hewer. Bell Tire's going to set this up. 5 seconds remaining in their power play. Flanagan up to Hewer. That shot deflected off the half wall. Picked up by Agbe. Agbe in the corner. It's going to go up top to Hewer. Hewer's going to send it back down low for Palucci. Palucci's going to send it across. That's going to go up top in the half wall for Pens, and they will go down, disrupted by Martin, but ultimately jump past their stick and blocked by Grun. "31 seconds remaining in this period. That puck is down, picked around, sent ahead to Martin. Martin's going to go up top, finding Dobbs in stride. Dobbs sending it ahead, going down to the corner. Cruciano just rolled off her stick, picked up by Pens. Flanagan sending it in. Can he get it down deep? Cruciano to chase behind the Pens net. Clemens chasing now. And Pens come out with that puck. Up to neutral. Across. Martin to defend. Shot blocked by Martin as time expires. And we are going to have an ice cut. We will be back in 10 minutes. back for the second period here in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh at UPMC. About to kick off the second period on ice. We're going to have Mackenzie in her own net. She's out of the net. Across, looking for a pass. Flanagan shot. Hits traffic out front. Tripped up is Hewer. Penn's come out with it out to neutral. Chased down and hit up back into neutral by Flanagan. Out to center ice by Penn's. Penn's deep into the Bell Tire zone. Caitlin to chase it into the corner. Penn's with it. And around to Mackenzie. Mackenzie's going to go to the half wall looking for Agbay. Agbay chipping to Hewer. Hewer going up, trying to get it tipped up to Bellucci. Penn's intercepted. And Mackenzie chips it over to Caitlin. On the wall and out to neutral. In streaking is and up the half wall goes Dobbs, finding Markovich. Penn's intercept here in neutral and send it back into the Bell Tire zone. Circling's Caitlin off the glass. That's going to go the length of the ice for an icing. And Bell Tire's going to get a change for their D. Bowman and Martin coming in on D out there with Dobbs. Kazarowski, yeah, Markovich. 13:36 on the clock, second period. 6 shots for Bell Tire, 8 for Penn's. 1-0, Penn's up. Dobbs on the draw. Bowman hitting around, looking for Markovich. Picked up by Martin. Martin going off glass, getting it up the boards, and in a battle on the boards. That's going to be a penalty on Dobbs. We're going to have a Bell Tire penalty kill. Dobbs heading to the box for a roughing. Kurt over here watching his daughter skate to the bench, going into the box. Morton, McKenzie, Hewer, Agbay on the ice for Bell Tire. And that puck is going to go past the Penn skate. Agbay now in a foot race, going in hard as the goalie comes out to play it. Picked up by Hewer on the half wall. Hewer trying to dump it deep. Bounced off the Penn's player, and they get it behind their own net. 13:03 on the clock. Minute 12 on the penalty kill. Penn's going up ice. Penn's down into the Bell Tire zone, circling, going back up top. Dropping it, trying to go deep. Bounced off a Bell Tire player. Penn's shot's going to go wide of the net. Mackenzie Flanagan into the corner. Across goes Penn's. Penn's circling on the board. Agbay. And now picked up by Flanagan in the corner. Now Morton. Morton behind her own net. Picked up by Penn's. Penn's coming up top. We're looking for a down low shot. Going back up top. Down into the corner. Going across off a skate. Backed out. 20 seconds remaining in the penalty kill. Penn's shot blocked out front. Picked up in the corner. And now he's Hewer getting a stick on it. Sending it down behind the Bell Tire net. Picked up by Morton. 3 seconds remaining. That puck's going to come all the way out. That's going to be on net. And out comes Dobbs. Bell Tire back in full strength. And that play coming out nice. Flanagan disrupted. Picked up by Martin. Martin going up top to Clemens. Clemens off her skate. Coming back down deep. Sent across by Flanagan to Martin. Martin going up to, I think that was Markovich. Markovich to Bellucci. Bellucci's shot. It's going to go over top of the net. Picked up by Clemens in the corner. Bellucci out back. Out front. And Cruciano with a shot that goes over the net. And Penns regains possession. Cruciano now down in the corner, battling through. Physical game against Beltire and Penns. Penns on their half wall, coming out to neutral. Coming up ice. Defended by Flanagan. Chased down into the corner. Flanagan. Shipping it around, getting it up the half wall. Penns intercepted at the blue line. Goes down deep behind the Beltire net. Picked up by Martin. Martin turning up ice. Martin passing up. Getting Clemens. Penns regain possession in neutral. And send it ahead. Martin picks it up in the corner. Martin off the wall, going up top. And cleared out by Cruciano. It's going to go the length of the ice. We're going to have an ice. Kazarowski on with Dobbs, Clemens, Mackenzie, Flanagan, and Bowman. 10:20 on the clock, second period. One back by Penns. Shot on net, turned aside by Grun. Picked up by Bowman. Bowman to the half wall. Kazarowski trying to get it cleared. Picked up by Penns. Shot back in, wide of the net. Dobbs. Bowman chipping it ahead. And back into the Beltire zone behind their net. Bowman up the half wall, hitting Markovich. Markovich loses an edge on the wall. Chipped down by Flanagan. And now the chase. Kazarowski. Bellucci going in hard. Bellucci looking for the puck. In with Hewer. And that puck is frozen in the Penn zone. Finally picked free after the whistle was blown. We'll have a face-off here. It looks like in the Penn zone. Agbe in with Hewer. Penalty. Bellucci going to the box. Got a holding call, so Beltire's going to go on a penalty kill. So on this penalty kill, we will have Hewer, Agbe, Martin, and Caitlin Flanagan. 9:25 on the clock, minute 30 on Bellucci. Puck is down, tied up at the dot. One back by Penns. Penns up top, sending it down deep. Flanagan tied up with the Penns player. Penns out front. Shot. Blocked by Dunn. And a scrum in front of the net. Out front, up top it goes. Cleared out. And finally covered up by Grun. Puck is down. Up top, it goes for Penns. Penns in the corner. Penns behind the Beltire net. They're going up to the half wall. Chased by Flanagan. Across. Disrupted by Agbe. Penns with the puck. Chipped behind and cleared down the ice. Penns to chase. Line change for Beltire. Markovich. Dobbs. Martin. Martin up ice, finding Dobbs. Out front. Markovich couldn't quite get to it. Picked up by Martin. Martin in neutral, sending it up ice. Going down deep into the Penn zone. 21 seconds remaining in the penalty kill here for Beltire. Dobbs on the hunt. Coming out into neutral. Picked up by Markovich. Markovich just going to drop it back deep again. Markovich going for a change. Penns coming up ice. Going deep. That's going to be an icing on Penns with 3 seconds remaining in this penalty kill for Beltire. Kazarowski out with Cruciano, Martin, and Caitlin Flanagan. Puck is down. Pens, one back into their own zone. That should be the end of the penalty kill. Out comes Palucci. Palucci going cross ice. Beltire in the Penn zone. Beltire in the corner. Come out up to the half wall. Clemens on and out to neutral. Defended by Flanagan. Down into the Beltire zone. Picked up by Kazarowski. Going down behind the Beltire net is Caitlin Flanagan. Pinning the Pens player. Waiting for assistance. Puck comes clear. Caitlin sends it up to Cruciano. Puck intercepted by Pens. Goes across. Clemens, Martin here. Martin now with some room. Martin going off the boards. Finding Cruciano in stride. Intercepted by the Pens player. And picked up by Morton in her own zone. Morton going back across to Clemens. Clemens to Hewer. Hewer trying to get it deep. Makes its way down into the corner, picked up by Pens. Pens now coming out of their zone. Up to Palucci. Palucci to Hewer. Hewer with room. Hewer's shot. Turned aside by the Pens netminder. Behind their net. Now Agbe. Agbe tripped up on the play. No call. And that puck coming out into neutral. Cleared up by, I believe, Morton. Out with Mackenzie Flanagan. Hewer down in the corner. Getting the puck, sending it pass, and couldn't quite connect. Pens player was able to shift that aside. Pens up through neutral. Defended by Mort. Going into the corner. Dumped behind. Picked up by Mackenzie. Mackenzie sending it back to Mort. 6:05 remaining in the second. Up ice, intercepted by Pens. Good save by Grun. As Pens continue to go deep into the Beltire zone. Morton chasing around. Dobbs now. Cross from Pens. Shot in. Deflected wide. Missed the backdoor Pens player. Comes back across. Goes across the crease and into the corner. Agbe trying to get it clear. That was Kazarowski. Caught an edge. Pens in the corner. Centering pass misses. 5:24. That pass intercepted by Markovic. Markovic with some room. Hits Cruciano off her stick. Goes to the corner. And Markovic now battling at the half wall. On ice is Caitlin Flanagan with Bowman. On D. Clemens. Markovic. Cruciano. Flanagan circling, sending it up off the ref skate, and doesn't quite make it into the Penn zone. Clemens on the half wall, picked up by Flanagan, off a Penn's stick and up in the air. Penn's now going deep into the Beltire zone, chased into the corner by Hewitt. Bowman in to help. 4:28 on the clock. Hewer trying to push it around. And that puck is just hanging out in that corner. Bowman still picking at it. Hewer trying to keep it pinned. Bowman now crunched into the wall, and the refs are going to blow this one dead with 4:01 on the clock. A line change coming for Beltire. Martin coming in with Mackenzie, Agbe, Palucci, and Hewer. Hewer on the draw, puck tied up. Picked out by Martin. Martin around to Mackenzie. Mackenzie up ice. Trying to find Palucci. Gets Palucci. Palucci now on a little bit of a rush. Gloved by Pens as Agbe was going in for that backdoor shot. We'll have a face-off here in the Penn zone. Hewer to take the draw. Same personnel for Beltire. Puck's down. Pens behind their own net. Martin jumping up. Centering pass off the stick of Agbe into the corner. And down the end of the ice it's going to go. Are they going to be icing? We are going to have icing on this. We're going to have the same personnel for Bell Tire. Fewer on the draw. Puck is down. Picked out by Agbe. Agbe to Martin. Martin walking. Shot. Deflected aside by Penn's. Low shot. Now picked up by Palucci. Agbe. Half wall. Penn's pick it up. Going rink wide. This is going to be defended by Flanagan. Penn's turn the corner. Shot. Wide of the net. Picked up on Blue. And now we've got a little bit of a rush the other way. We've got Palucci down with Hewer. Palucci in. Shot. Turned aside by Penn's goalie. Chased down by Agbe. Sending it back out. Picked up by Morton. Morton getting it back deep. Martin going for a change. Pens on their half wall are going to hang tight and circle back in their own zone. This is going to be chased by Kozarowski. Chipped in by Pens. Morton circling in her zone. Sending it up ice. Finding Markovich. Tips it in. Dobbs. Markovich, Kozarowski, Caitlin Flanagan, and Morton. Going to go the length of the ice for an icing with 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the second period. Bell Tire with 12 shots, Pens with 13. Pens up 1-0. Caitlin and Mackenzie on D. Palucci, and the shot in is going to be covered up, and Palucci taken down on the attempt to get the rebound. Puck's down. Dropped back by Agbe. Shot. Off a skate over the net. Picked up by Pens on the half wall. Pinched off by Hewer. Over to Caitlin, or Mackenzie Flanagan. She's going to drop it down to the half wall. Pens going across. Off the wall. Picked up by Markovich. Markovich tripped up as she goes into the zone. And this is going to be picked up by Kozarowski. Sending it across to Flanagan. Flanagan going rink wide. Looking for Markovich. Markovich with a great stop. Gets a shot on net. Gloved by Pens. So now Bell Tire has 14 shots, Pens 13. Scores 1-0. Bell Tire looking for the equalizer here. Dobbs, Markovich, Bowman, Martin. Markovich turning the dot. Cleared out by Pens. No icing. Wade. Martin's going to chase. Martin with the Pens play right on her. Sending it around the corner. Winning the wall battle. And now picked up by Dobbs. Dobbs circling back up. Now Martin. Martin's going to come out. Sending it up. Getting that cleared out of the zone. And a mess in front of that Pens zone. Turned aside by Grun. And cleared out by Bell Tire. It's not going to make it the length, and you are going to have Clemens chasing it. Chased down by Caitlin Flanagan. Flanagan going up top looking for Clemens. Picked up by Martin. Martin drops it back to Flanagan. Flanagan turning up ice. Hitting the brakes, coming back the other way. Getting it up and finding Agbe. Martin pulling it back out, sending it deep. And Pens going the other direction. Shot's going to get turned aside by Grun. Picked up ice and sent deep by Morton. Cruciano down in the corner. Overskated. Palucci now helping. Palucci coming around the backside of the Penn's net and picked up by Penn's. Chased down by Hewer. Penn's at the half wall, and that's going to be the end of the second period. We'll go into the third here. Penn's up 1-0. Shots on net, it's 14 for Belle Tire and 15 for Penn's. All right, third period, getting rolling. We've got Hewer out there with Palucci, Agbe, Martin, and Mackenzie Flanagan. Belle Tire looking to even this match out. Hewer to take the draw. Puck is down. Agbe fighting through. Agbe sending it to Palucci. Palucci in, looking for a centering pass. Chipped off the stick of a Penn's player up the half wall. Collected by Hewer. Now Agbe. Hewer walking in. Hewer. Shot. Turned aside. Good save by the Penn's goalie. Up the wall to Flanagan. Flanagan turning it around. Calming down. Sending it in on net. Hit some traffic. Bounced around and picked up by Penn's. They're going to rim around trying to get it clear. Picked up by Agbe. Now Martin. Martin's shot's going to get through and going to be collected in by the Penn's goalie. Full line change for Belle Tire. Cruciano, Markovich, Gazarovski, Morton, and Caitlin Flanagan. Flanagan walking the line, sending it down, sending it across, finding Markovich. Markovich up top to Flanagan. Flanagan rolling it around the Penn's player, trying to get it deep. Flanagan with a shot, wide of the net. Markovich in the corner at the half wall, sending it back deep, finding Cruciano. Cruciano out front. Gazarovski trying to get her stick on it. And into neutral, the puck goes. It's Dobbs chasing. Penn's gain the Belle Tire zone. Trying to turn in behind their net. And to the corner. Picked up by Dobbs. Dobbs clears it up. And Belle Tire's going to go for a full line change as Penn's retrieve the puck, get it down deep into the Belle Tire zone. Face down. This is defended by Palucci. Hewer now behind her own net, sending it up the half wall. Intercepted by Penn's. Hewer keeping it going. Palucci now. Agbe to chase. Out with Martin and Bowman. And Penn's are going to clear it out to neutral. Sent down, coming across center, defended by Martin. Sent to the boards up top. And shot on net. Tipped aside by Pens. Goes wide of the net. Pens now behind the Bell Tire net. Chased by Martin. And that puck goes back down deep into the Bell Tire zone. Bowman blocked by Grun. And a little scrum in front of the net. 12:25 on the clock. 16 shots for Bell Tire. 14 for Pens. That puck is down, sent around. Cruciano picking it up off the half wall. Trying to chip it ahead. Looking ahead for Dobbs. And that puck down back in the Bell Tire zone. It's going to get covered up by Grun. They will take the chance on the draw here in the Bell Tire zone. Caitlin and McKenzie on D. Clemens, Cruciano, Dobbs. Check that. Martin out with McKenzie, Cruciano, Clemens, and Dobbs. Sent around, picked up by Martin. Martin going up top, finding Dobbs. Dobbs looking for Clemens. Pens intercepted. Chipped up. Picked up by Clemens. Clemens turning up ice. Ain't in the zone. He's going to go in, trying to get it deep. Goes into the corner, chased by Cruciano. Up the half wall by Pens. Picked off. Dobbs looking for it, and Pens regains possession here in neutral. Defended by Martin. Martin pushing wide off the skate. Picked up by Clemens. Clemens dumps it deep. That's going to be chased by Markovic. She's going to pick it up before it gets for Isle. Whoa. That's going to be an icing call. So on ice, we're going to have Kazarowski, Morton, Markovic, and Flanagan. Puck is down, picked up by Kazarowski. Sent ahead into neutral, picked up by Pens. And we're going to have another offsetting penalty. That is going to be on Markovic. So our third offsetting penalty here in this game. So we're going to have on ice Agbe, Hewer, Palucci, Morton, and Martin. Puck drop's going to be just outside the Bell Tire zone. 11:16 on the clock. Puck is down. One back to Martin. Martin going across to Morton. Morton looking centering, finding Hewer. Hewer gaining the zone and loses a little bit there. Picked up by Agbe. Collected in by Pens down and deep in their zone. Sending it up ice. Going cross ice. Defended by Morton. Martin going down deep into the corner. Hewer now chased behind. And they're going to hold play there. .47 remaining in this third period. Line change for Bell Tire. We are going to have Mackenzie Flanagan out with Caitlin Flanagan, Clemens. Looks like Dobbs and Bowman. Picked out by Dobbs. Dobbs going to send it up ice. That's going to slide wide of the net, but they're going to wave that icing. Clemens now waiting patiently. The puck's going to make it back. Dobbs turning up ice. Lost her footing, collected by Pens. Down into the corner. Chased by McKenzie. And around circles Pens. Flanagan gets a stick on it. That's going to slide deep into the Pens zone. We've got Caitlin Flanagan with her stick on it, getting it into the zone. Chipping it ahead is McKenzie. Beltire doing a lot of line changes. So we got Palucci out there with Cruciano. Gazarowski. That shot defended off by Grun. Gazarowski. Yeah, we're going to have penalty here. On Dobbs. Or no, on Palucci. Palucci disagrees with the call. All right, Beltire, penalty kill. 9:40 in the third period. Hewer, Agbe, Martin, and Morton on ice for Beltire. Puck's down. Pens up top. Sending it out. Walking the blue line. Sending it down deep. Chased down by Hewer. Going across. Shot wide by Pens. Broken stick. Clears the zone. Pens in neutral. Circling up. Sending it down deep. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin chipping it into the corner. Chasing it around. That puck slides up top to the blue. Defended by Agbe. Agbe now. A little bit of room to work. Agbe, can she get the step? Chased down by Pens and called out. No penalty call there. We are going to get a penalty. That's going to be a holding on Pens. So the offsetting is now over. Palucci's got 49 seconds remaining. Pens are going to get another minute 30 on the board. We should have 4-on-4 hockey here for 41 seconds once Palucci's out. The Dobbs is coming out with Caitlin Flanagan and Mackenzie Flanagan and Martin on D. Dobbs on the draw. Flanagan's at center ice, trying to get it towards the net. Dobbs now, short side shot, is going to be just covered up. A lot more ice to play with on 4-on-4 here. Puck is down. Martin over to Flanagan. Flanagan shot. It's going to be rebound, almost picked up by Caitlin. Chipped aside by the Pens goalie. Down into the corner. Dobbs chasing. Dobbs pinning her in the corner. Up top to Martin. Martin walking in. Shot. Wide of the net. Rolling back to McKenzie. McKenzie pulling back at the blue line. Trying to get it cleared over. Cleared out by Pens. Martin all down by Pens. And that is going to end up in the back of the net by Pens. So that's going to be 2-0 Pens. We're going to have the Flanagans on D here, and Hewer and Agbe, and Beltire back full strength. So we are going on to a power play here, picked up by McKenzie, chipping it ahead to Hewer. Hewer making a Pens goal miss, going into neutral. Going to slow it down as they gain the zone, and we're going to have an offsides. Puck is down. Back to McKenzie. McKenzie going rink wide, hitting Agbe. Agbe sending it around. Half wall. Heward. McKenzie. McKenzie down to Caitlin. Caitlin up top to McKenzie. McKenzie shot block. Sending it back down deep. Picked up by Caitlin. Caitlin sending it deep. Looking for, I think that's Dobbs. And now all the penalties are clear. So we're back to 5-on-5. Flanagan to Flanagan. Turning up ice. And Pens drops that deep into the Bell Tire zone. 7:07 remaining. Picked up, sent to the half wall. Cruciano looking for it. Slides past her stick, goes deep into the Pens zone. Morton and Martin on D for Bell Tire. Got a delayed, we're offsides. Delayed offsides here. Will be offsides on Bell Tire. Bell Tire shot 17, Pens 16. Pens 2-0. 6:49 on the clock. Puck is down. Pens working their way up through neutral. Drop to Martin. Martin looking up ice. Martin making her way up. Martin's going to find a lane here. Turn around, and she's going to go in behind the net. And Morton on the half wall. Can be picked up by Crew, and shot is glove. That shot was by, Kazarowski. We got a line change happening here. Bowman out with, looks like Mackenzie Flanagan, Palucci, Agbe, and Markovich. Flanagan, shot. Bouncing, goes wide. Picked up by Bowman. Bowman sends it into the corner. Grabbed by Pens. Pens going through neutral. Into the Bell Tire zone. That pass deflected and picked up by Bell Tire on the half wall. Chipped in by Agbe, but that was an ice. They come back to length here. That puck behind the Bell Tire net. Looking for a pass up top, finding Agbe. Agbe pinched off on the wall there. Back behind the Pens net. And this is going to go up top to Flanagan. Flanagan getting it back deep. Bell Tire going for a line change. Pens on their way out into neutral. Defended by Bowman. Pens going deep. And that puck behind the Bell Tire net. Picked up by Palucci. Palucci trying to clear it out of the Bell Tire zone. Chipped up to the point. Shot blocked by Hewer. Hewer now with a little bit of room to work. At Flanagan coming down. Shot is going to go wide of the net. And Dobbs able to almost hang that one on, but offsides call. 4:54 remaining here in this third period. 18 shots for Bell Tire, 16 for Pens. Dobbs, Hewer, Caitlin Flanagan, Martin, and Morton on D. Trying to pick that puck free. Flanagan pins up against the wall. Hewer kicks it ahead. Hewer into the zone, gets it deep and running over Pens. Pens now pick it out of the corner, coming back the other way. This is going to be defended by Martin. That's going to run the length of the ice. And an icing with a late whistle called. So this will come back into the Pen zone with 4:26 on the clock. Cruciano out there with Kozarowski, Clement, Morton, Martin. Morton holding it on the line. Picked out by Pens. Pens going up ice. Martin driving deep. Pinning that puck back into the corner. Picked up by Morton. Morton going to the half wall. Picked up by Clemens. Clemens sending it to neutral. Chased by Cruciano. Pens behind their own net. Up to the half wall. Cleared out. Defended here by Martin. Picked up by Kozarowski. And Pens pick it off the wall. Shot gloved by Grund. Held. Puck is down. Sent across by Pens. Picked up at the half wall. Chased by Mackenzie Flanagan. Now Palucci. Flanagan back on it. Pens drop it to their point. Here back down deep. Collected at the line. And chip shot. Going to go in to make this 3-0. .319 on the clock. Well, Tire's got a hold of dig out of here. We've got Dobbs, Stewart, Caitlin Flanagan, Morton, and Martin. Morton taking up. Dropping to Dobbs. Dobbs trying to get it deep. Goes behind the Pens net. Picked up by Ewer. Half wall. Caitlin Flanagan. And sent up. Kicked out by Pens. Defended by Dobbs. Pens in the neutral zone. Turning up ice. Drop pass. Turned aside by Grund. Picked up by Dobbs. Now Hewer. Hewer sending it up. Not going to make it out. It's going to go back deep. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin sending it up the half wall. Looking for Hewer. Martin. Martin now one-on-one here. Martin's got one-on-one against Pens. Goes around, finds it, and just goes to the side of the net. Gets it around to Caitlin Flanagan, who loses her footing on the play. And we've got an injured Pens player. And we've got Palucci in the box for roughing. The Bell Tire is going to go on a penalty kill here. Now, one too many players out there for Bell Tire. As we have, we've got too many players. Too many players for Bell Tire. We're going to have Hewer out there with Agbe, Martin, and Flanagan. Puck is down. Pens up at their point. Rink wide goes Pens. Pens going in top, going down low. Chased down by Pens out into the corner. Back up top. That puck picked up by Martin. Collected by Pens. Shot. Turned aside by Grun. Mackenzie Flanagan pushing him wide. Shot. Blocked and sent to length. 1 minute and 40 seconds on the clock. Pens collecting in their zone. Making their way up. This is going to be defended by Martin. Martin on the boards. Tied up. And helped out by Dobbs. Martin down in the corner. Looking for help from Mackenzie. Mackenzie now. Going to the other corner. Pinching Pens in the corner. And Pens are able to get that cleared up to their point. Send it back to the half wall. Centering pass blocked by Flanagan. Chased down by Martin. Martin going up the boards. Going to make its way to the point. Shot in. Down into the corner. 9 seconds remaining in the penalty kill. And cleared out by Markovich. Pens now on a quick change by Bell Tire. Cleared aside. 35 seconds remaining in the game. Sent down behind the Bell Tire net. Chased down by Bowman. Pens out of the corner, looking for another quick shot. Bowman sending it up. Collected by Pens at the half wall. 21 seconds remaining in the game. Cummins now racing out of the zone, gaining the Pen zone. Dumping it deep. And this is Bell Tire's penalty kill is over. There we go. We've got 5 on the ice now. Picked up by Morton. Morton's shot is going to be turned out in front. And that will be the end of the game. So we are going to be back tomorrow at Barrel Ice Rink. And that game, for those that would like to watch, is going to be against the New Jersey Colonials, and that is at 1:15.